Tremors, turmoil and Truss. This could best describe the situation at 10 Downing Street right now. UK Prime Minister Liz Truss's fight for her political survival could be ending soon, and many say it may not be in her favour. Will Liz Truss last till Christmas, or is an ouster likely even before that? Some experts even say that the fall could come within a week or two. Britain is watching closely to see whether or not she will make it into the record books as the shortest serving UK Prime Minister since 1759. Some reports saying nearly 100 MPs of the Conservative Party are slated to submit letters of no confidence in Truss to Graham Brady, who heads the party's committee that organises the leadership contest. The mini-budget, the U-turns and the market turmoil that followed, putting Truss in a spot that she certainly did not see coming. Her Go for Growth economic project has already been shredded by the hurriedly appointed new Chancellor Jeremy Hunt. He was hastily given the job from an ideological ally. Truss brought in someone who holds very different economic views from her. He is from the party centre. She is on the extreme libertarian right. Plotters in the Tory party, in fact, are planning a so-called rescue mission. So far, 3 MPs have gone public demanding her resignation. So if Truss is indeed ousted, let's understand who are the possible candidates who could succeed her and beat the Conservatives' 5th Prime Minister since Brexit. Well, the first in line, of course, is Rishi Sunak, the Indian origin MP who lost to Truss in the final round of the recent Tory leadership race. He remains a top favourite for several party MPs. In August, Rishi Sunak criticised Truss's more than $33 billion plan. He called it disastrous and claimed it would lead to misery for millions. Sunak gained popularity during the pandemic for his economic package to aid businesses and employees. However, his popularity took a hit after the Partygate scandal. And then there is Ben Wallace, the UK Defence Secretary. Earlier, Wallace decided not to run for leadership in the summer. Despite significant grassroots backing, Wallace's allies are now contacting Conservative MPs about how they feel about his standing should Truss be removed. Penny Mordaunt is another leader in the race. She also stands a shot for the top post. She stood 3rd in the Tory leadership contest earlier, and since then she seems to have gained approval from some for speaking out over the benefit increases. But others fear they do not know what she really stands for. And the final one, last but not the least, Boris Johnson, of course, former UK Prime Minister, who led the Conservative Party to a resounding win in 2019. He was then forced to step down after the Partygate scandal and mass resignations from his cabinet. However, Boris Johnson still stands a chance to make a dramatic return to power. According to reports, he still has a core base of supporters, and his supporters feel his departure was forced by a string of scandals inside Downing Street, and that was unfair. The Conservative Party seems to be divided into camps as of now, with each one backing their favourite. Will Truss be replaced? There is still some uncertainty over that, but what is certain is that however long Truss lasts in office, she is set to be remembered as the Prime Minister whose grip on power was the shortest in British political history. And with me on the broadcast this minute is Renaud Foucault from England, who is a political analyst and a senior lecturer in economics at the Lancaster University. Thanks very much for being here. This is a bad case of deja vu, talking about PM contenders all over again, just over a month after the UK got a new leader. What is your assessment of where things stand as of now? Is the UK leadership this time around on a sticky wicket? Do you see Liz Truss being also someone who has faced criticism for the ouster of Kwasi Kwarteng and the fact that she was to be blamed for that as well?
Yes, it's all a very moving situation. At any moment, it could stop and she could be replaced by somebody else. But the problem is that it's, as you mentioned already, the second prime minister in a very short amount of time. Only Boris Johnson was elected on a relatively vague mandate of get Brexit done. Then Liz Truss got the majority of the very small selectorate of Conservative Party members to put her into power. And now almost all the contenders you have listed are people who are somehow losers of that contest. So maybe, somebody like Rishi Sunak, he can claim that he was right all along. He's been saying and predicting exactly what was going to happen with Liz Truss' plan. But nonetheless, he lost the contest. So at the moment, Liz Truss, she still has, in theory, at least 11 months in power. That's the rule of the Conservative Party. So if they want to oust her, they would need to find a majority of MPs, a large majority of MPs, who agree on somebody else. So this is very complicated. And at the moment, she has no power. All the power has been transferred to the Chancellor. The Chancellor is cancelling everything she was standing for. So she's a leader, but with no power.
We just listed out the contenders in case Truss loses trust. As many have said, that might happen, that might not happen. But if it does, who are the contenders according to you? Who is leading that race according to you?
Well, everyone is talking about Rishi Sunak for obvious reasons. Again, because he was right, because he made the exact predictions of what was going to happen. So I guess the money is mostly on a Sunak Mordaunt ticket, because Penny Mordaunt, she's a great communicator, and she was standing for the Prime Minister this afternoon. It would be very difficult to replace Jeremy Hunt in any way, because he's the one who, as Chancellor now, has been calming the market. So any new Prime Minister, anyway, will have to keep the Chancellor, will not even have the power to choose their Chancellor. And then there is only one person, I think, who has the depth and perhaps the stature in the party and who did not lose the contest, and is Ben Wallace. So Ben Wallace ruled himself out for personal reason from the contest. The former defense secretary, he could be a potential prime minister, but things have to move very fast. And although he's a pretty consensual figure, it's not that obvious that it would be there would be an easy path to put him into power.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.